Yes, thank you very much, ma'am. And I think I'll be taking it over from here. So, yeah, students, thank you all for joining today. We have a very good strength here currently in the meeting, and we also have, I'm sure, many will who will be attending through the live stream that we have going on at the same time. So, I'll take over now. We have time till about 5 p.m. today. Today, I'll be talking about a range of subjects. Thank you very much, ma'am. And I think I'll be taking it over from here. So, yeah, and at the same time, what we'll be doing today is that I'd like to give everybody a brief about what is the significance of the course that you will be doing, and also where these technologies will be impacting the market and what sort of skill sets that you will be gaining here, the focus of that. So we'll start here. I have a small visual aid. I'll be speaking mostly, and let's just, so this is a short bio. I'm sure Yash has covered this, so we'll be skipping this, and I want to stay here for a few minutes, and I just want to give you an idea about what we'll be covering today. So mostly in three parts. I'd like to first tell everyone, sort of give you a perspective, and share a bit of a story about how AI is impacting our industries and the way that we are doing work, and how that is changing the nature of jobs today. So you have developers, people who write software, that write applications, and how the job of this developer job has been changing, and soon, the sort of technologies, the sort of programming languages you need has shifted away from what we thought was initially important, like, say, for example, Java or .NET or C++, and now that has come to more of Python and R and other, high abstraction level languages. So I'll be explaining what that is soon. And lastly, we'll exactly cover as to why Python is so important and a glimpse of what you'll be learning through this course that we're doing. So as it is also an orientation session, maybe I'll also show you some examples of, what sort of, to what level you as students will be reaching when you finish this course. And of course, we'll be covering a lot of things, but I just want to give you a glimpse of it. So, and I hope that it will motivate you to register for the course, because you have registered for the webinar, but the course registration is also there beyond this. And of course, for that, the seats are limited, but I want to just motivate as many students as possible, because we'll be doing this many times throughout the college, and this is just the first of many. So moving on to the actual topic at hand, is that before we actually get into Python or AI or even big data, all these words you might have heard at the very least: data science, data analytics, artificial intelligence. So I want to take a step back and tell you a short story about uh, what is the trigger, in our history that led to the growth of these technologies, and for these technologies to become this important. And if anybody ever asks you this, or if you ever have the opportunity to speak about it, I want you to remember this story and see that it was actually the transition from something that we called Web 1 to Web 2.0. Now, all of you are college students, you are under the age of, say, 2022. So, you can see that this period from 1996 to 2006, right? All of you kids you might still be, very young or barely not even born. So for me, at least I personally remember this phase vaguely, but you will see that this was a big shift, in the history of the internet, and how our industry has changed. And the internet before, this one decade of 96 to 2006, it was basically just an encyclopedia. You would go online and you would basically just go to the internet to read. You had nothing that you could do on the internet. But afterwards, say post 2005, when you have Facebook or Twitter come in, or Instagram after that, and that's when you started interacting with the internet as, not just a consumer but also as a contributor. So today you will see that on YouTube, on all these social media platforms, you have people that are influencers, and those who are content creators, those who create content and put it out there, and like, they are the reason why people are coming to these platforms. So you have realized that we as people, as regular people, have become not just content consumers but also content providers. And that has been the biggest change, a bigger change that you can imagine in terms of how the world does business. And why that is that because of the web being able to connect not just to everybody but also from everybody is that you have an explosion of data. So suddenly your data stopped being coming from just a few sources of those people that host websites to everybody with a smartphone in their hand. And that is the reason why we have something, why big data is now such a thing, such a popular thing today. And the sort of data that you have, the sort of data that you generate, when you interact with every social media site or even many websites today, and that generates a sort of quote unquote a profile of you. And this profile, this data profile, kind of educates businesses as to how to let you to how to get maximize the sort of business or the sort of revenue or sales that that they can conduct to people. So you as a person on Amazon, if you're searching for something, like say you are interested in shoes, today you search for shoes on Amazon, tomorrow you will notice that you are getting ads for shoes on the Amazon homepage, right? So that is Amazon using your own user data to improve your experience. They think that okay, this you may still want to see shoes and they'll show you interesting shoes in the future. But here is something that as kids, I'll go one point further. Tomorrow you see that you're chatting with somebody on Facebook and you mention something, or on Facebook you're looking at a marketplace and you notice that you're looking at people selling shoes on Facebook. You did not search for shoes on Amazon, but still on the Amazon homepage you are seeing an ad for shoes. Many of you, like if you have not thought about it, maybe you will realize that this happens more often than usual. But for those who have, if you've ever wondered why this happens, and that's the reason, is because companies sell data to each other. And Facebook, of course, everybody knows, has been very, very infamous, has a reputation for selling data without users consent, and there are all of those issues. I will not get into that. But you will realize that basically we as people, we have become not just a consumer of products but a product ourselves. So the data that we generate as people is being bought and sold, and you are also a product today. And that is what I want to get into when I want to explain how the field of data analytics has evolved. And today, like, business has become not just something where you study markets, but you also study the nature of the users that are in the market. So of course our understanding of what a market is has also evolved so much. And you will see that I have used all these fancy words in this slide, if you notice a little clearly, is predictive, cognitive, augmented analytics, and whatnot. Don't worry about any of these fancy words. The whole point is that in the past, say between 5 to 10 years, so we're in 2022 now, somewhere between 2012 and 22, all of these new types of analytics have come up. And why it came up is because from 2005 there was an explosion of data, and that companies started using that and decided that we have all of this user generated data. People come to our websites, they come to our platforms, and we should analyze that and improve our sales, improve our efficiency. And that's where this field has now come. So this is a completely new frontier, and you will see that the nature of jobs that you're doing in it is also very different. And now is when, like, the final piece of the puzzle will connect. So I just mentioned big data, I mentioned data analytics, and finally now I'd like to talk about AI. So where AI comes into this is the fact that we have AI has been a very old concept, and it has been used consistently, in on and off in phases, in our history. But since 2012, AI really has evolved, and with the introduction of various deep learning and all these other fancy fields. But without getting that, what we can say is that when AI met analytics, that's when we were able to exponentially increase our predictive capacity, our descriptive capacity. So you were able to work with big data through AI, and that's when you were able to create all of these fancy products that you're seeing. So of course you have Alexa or Google Home or all these autonomous self-driving cars, or even you have these advanced robotics that is possible. It's all possible through AI, and it is fueled by the data that we are generating. So autonomous cars work because of all the road data and all the driving traffic data that we have. Alexa works because of all the speech data, all the instances of data where people are saying things to Alexa recorded, and it's constantly refined. So of course, it's not just these few fields that are using AI, but AI is everywhere. And like kids, one thing I want to tell you is that, like, no matter what field you go to. So I'll take an example of law, something that you will think is the farthest from AI. Like even in law, you are not, protected, or you could say away from AI. Any field you go to, you will get to see AI in the future, because even in a field called law, where you are, you can say, parsing documents, you're going through ranges of documentation, you're creating a sort of a case or anything. Even there, AI has come in the form of all these products and tools, and there is a big marketplace over here. So I'll skip through this part. And of course, you have the impact on retail as well, where I gave you the example of Amazon, and also how you have all these chatbots that help you buy something or sell something. And also, if you are a seller yourself, then you can use a chatbot and you can help automate your own business. So I think, let me try to play this one small video just to show you the
Google has
beauty of this. Let's just
chatbot
see
called
if
Mina
you can
that
get
they
the
claim
audio.
is better
Even
than
if you
any
can't,
other
it's perfectly
chatbot
fine.
out there. The secret behind Mina's conversational skills is the crazy amount of data it was trained on, about 341 gigabytes of text, or to put that in more understandable terms, 40 billion words, including millions of social media conversations. What separates Mina from other chatbots is its ability to give specific context-dependent answers. For example, if you say, "I like football," and a chatbot replies, "That's nice," the response makes sense, but is not specific. So let's try chatting with Mina. As you can see from the chat logs, Mina not only answers questions sensibly and coherently, but is even capable of cracking a joke. Next, you see a selection of topics where the user talks with Mina about movies, and the bot even expresses the desire to see these movies too. This is very human-like. Mina even tried to come up with a proper definition of philosophy. These scholarly-like attempts to answer such deep questions is much more advanced than previous state-of-the-art chatbots. In order to understand how Mina works, you need to read Google AI's recent paper, Towards... Okay, so this gets very technical from here on, so I'll stop the video. But the point I'm trying to say is that you have all of these companies that are constantly trying to push the boundary and, try to blur the lines between what is natural, what is more human-like, and, let AI do your jobs. So the fact that, you can today, even if you're doing something alone, you can have a chatbot that can, do conversations with you, that can chat with your potential customers, and all of these things. So the point that we're trying to make is that these AI, these advanced algorithms that you're seeing, all of these new products, what is happening is that what is the programming language, or what are the technologies that this advanced technology is using? It's basically being done in Python. That's the sort of this, the moral or the conclusion that I'm trying to get to. And we'll touch upon Python just a little bit later, but I've just given you a little bit of a glimpse into what is the capacity, or what is the state of the art, that we are currently working towards at a global level, in America or in Europe or even in places in India. But what is, like, for us as people, what is the impact on us in a
our
human-like open domain.
jobs, or potentially, like, what is the sort of job that you can hope to do? So, okay, before I move into that, this is again one more interesting video that really exemplifies, or you could say it gives a very, very good example of how Google is really advancing automated speech, and try to take chatbots not just from a text-based "Hi, how are you" versus thing, to also talking to you. So this is back in 2018. Google I/O is like the official Google internal conference, and although this is now 4 years old, this is still exceptionally advanced, and I'd like everyone to take a look at this. So if you want, this presentation will be made available to everybody, and you can check this out all yourself, or you can Google this right now. So let's just take this 1 minute video, just a little.
Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you.
So how can I help you?
Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
Sure, give me one.
Okay, so just to put it in context, the person on the left is a real person. It's an assistant of somebody, and or the person who's trying to get a haircut. And the thing on the right side you have is Google's automated AI, chatbot that is actually speaking, that's conducting the appointment. Okay.
Second? Sure. What time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m.
Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. So the one with the Google symbol here is actually the Google chatbot, the one that's conducting, that's trying to get the appointment. And the one on the right is the actual real person at the, the haircut salon that's, booking the appointment. Okay, so let's continue.
We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
That was a real call you just heard. The amazing thing is the assistant can actually understand the nuances of conversation. We've been working on this technology for many years. It's called Google Duplex. It brings together all our investments over the years in natural language understanding, deep learning, text-to-speech.
Okay, so that was the whole thing. And I think the main point that I'm trying to raise, I proved it myself because I myself was not able to tell which is which. I had to think that, okay, the one on the left is the actual chatbot. So that's the level we're reaching now. And if anyone's interested, Google Duplex is still under development. It's not been released, but it will be releasing soon. So this is an incredibly advanced thing, and it's extremely complex. So let's not get into this. And again, just to keep things in perspective, what you need to know is that a lot of this AI stuff is done in Python, finally. So let's dive into, as people, what sort of jobs that we're expected to do. If we know Python or if we know R, so this data analytics, data science jobs, what are these jobs looking like? So I just want to give you a little bit of an update as to, if you've never seen this state, you as students today, whatever year you may be in, your first year or your final year, it's good to have this information in your brain. So, when you think about your potential career or what sort of job you want to do. So let's get into it. So of course you have, all of this digitization that's happening, digital India, and with digitization comes automation. And all of this automation, you could say, whether it's any sort of just, converting your papers to just to Excel, or also to automate certain processes like data entry, you want to automate that. So all of this is done through programming, through various of applications, simple scripts, or just one-off, programs. So whatever be the scale, and all of this, a lot of this work is being done in more and more high-level programming languages, so that people of various fields, various backgrounds can also, do some sort of programming or some sort of software operation. So you cannot expect an accountant to actually, be writing any code in C++, to be making a C++ project just because they want to automate their own their Excel spreadsheet or something. So that's the point I'm making here, is that Python is something that even your accountants or even somebody who does not have a science background can do. And let's just get into the exact job numbers that we're seeing now. This data that I'm showing over here, this is now it's a little bit outdated, but the trend remains the same. Now the trend that I'm trying to show you is that since 2010-12, that we're seeing over here, somewhere around here in this left side, and this corresponds with also, the story I told you earlier, where you have a growth of these fields coming in. And the sort of data science jobs or data analytics jobs, any job with the word data, in the heading, as the role for it, those jobs have now just completely exploded. And this sort of growth we haven't seen in a very, very long time. Of course, this is actually in, like, in the scale is in thousands, so 500,000, 5 lakh, 10 lakh jobs. This is what we're looking at. And from in the last 10 years, we have seen that it has grown a lot. And majority of all the jobs over here are taken up by these three colors. And what the three colors are: data analyst, business analyst, data scientist. So again, it's all analyst or data, one of the two things are in it. So this is what I'd like you to keep in mind, is that these jobs are growing, they're going to continue to grow. And this is the beauty of these jobs right now, is that today in 2021 or 22, if you're looking at these jobs of with data or analyst in it, you will see that every job has a experience requirement in it, right? And you will see that majority of these jobs, like 39 to 40 to 60% are asking, okay, you have 60% of them that are requiring less than 5 years experience. So many of them, over around 20%, are only interested in freshers. And you have another, so around half of them are only looking for fresher to few years of experience. So this is a very, very rare thing when you're looking at the overall jobs in the market. So because the field itself is so new, you see that the proportion of jobs that are okay with freshers is also very high. So today, if you're looking for a field that will give you the highest possibility of landing a job, this is one of those fields, a field that has the word data in it, or a field that has the word analyst in it. So of course, science is a little different. Data scientist requires a sort of a background or domain knowledge of another pedigree. So we'll touch upon that maybe a little later. Now, finally, what are the skills that they're looking for in these jobs? I touched upon which jobs are growing, what is the experience they're looking for. Majority are looking for under 5 years, from fresher to up to 5 years. And finally, what are the technologies they're looking for? What do they want you to know? It's basically, lot of it is R, lot of it is Python. And then you have other things like Hadoop, Tableau, Spark. They're all other higher up technologies in there. So you will see that majority are looking at Python and R only. And I would argue that Python is now overtaken R as well, because Python's usability goes above and beyond what R is capable of doing. So you'll see that these jobs they have grown so far, and they're continuing to grow. Now I'll just take one more slide to explain to you what exactly, many students ask us, like, exactly what do you need, what skill sets do you need to land this sort of job. Now, see, regardless of whether you're doing this course or whether you're not, if you want to understand what is the job of these analysts, I would like you to take this piece of information away. So of this whole 1 hour of session that we have, if there is one thing that I want you to take away, it's mostly this. And it's that what in all data driven jobs, all of them, they all stand on 4 pillars: analytics, programming, communication, and domain knowledge. These 4 things make a successful data analyst or data scientist. So of course, like there are subtle differences, but let's look at data analyst first. And if you go to job portals today, so say freshers or second year people, those who are there, you may say that, nahi sir, mere ko abhi job portal nahi dekhne ka, there is abhi time hai. Or but at least those who may be in your final year, if you're getting serious and you are interested in seeing, if you go to any of these places, you will realize that anything that is written there, it is basically can be projected, or it can be simplified into these 4 skills. I'll show this to you right now. So we have 2 examples here. I've given you somewhat of a high-end job description. One is for Amazon, one is for Salesforce, both MNCs, and both hiring at Bangalore or abroad. But if you see whether it is Bangalore or whether it is Washington, so the skills that they're asking is basically the same. I'll just show this to you. So let's not don't focus too much on reading the text, but if you check this later on, basically what they're asking you is that when you say deep dive into massive data sets, let's just look at this 4th point over here. Okay, so data sets answering key business questions using Excel, SQL, and other data manipulation. What is that? They're asking you that you should be able to know programming, programming in Excel, SQL, and data manipulation. Now if they're saying that presenting written recommendations and insights to stakeholders. What is that? That is a communication skill, right? You should be able to make a presentation. Shaping and informing key metrics and indicators. What is that? It's communication skills. So these things can, whatever fancy things they write. Now the Salesforce ones is a little bit more fancier, but you will see that again, it's the same thing. It's just, wrapped up in fancy words. So basically, this is what you need to know: analytics, domain, programming, and communication. Now, what we at Develearn are doing is that we are trying to grow these 4 pillars, and that's how we ensure that our students, and also of course through this associate course, you kids are also getting the same opportunity. We're trying to bring this sort of approach to you, is that how you can grow on these pillars. Now, of course, the point to be made here is that domain knowledge basically means specific experience in a particular domain. Now, this is something that cannot be trained. It comes with work experience only, working in a particular field. But everything else, be it analytics or programming or communication, all of that can be learned in a class. It can be self-studied. It can be practiced. Domain knowledge cannot be practiced. Okay, so I think that is something that that everybody here should be aware of, and just understand that if you want to get into something, try to accumulate the domain knowledge through any way that you can. So of course, I'll leave you with this one last point, is that what do I mean by domain knowledge? Now if you look at this Amazon job description, what they're asking here is to learn and understand a broad range of Amazon's data resources. So what that means is that you should know what AWS, Amazon Web Services, or Amazon's other resources are. So if you've had a career at Amazon, or if you've worked in a company that has worked with Amazon, that's when you have the domain knowledge to match it. So don't worry about this small thing of domain knowledge. If you have good analytics and programming skills, the job is yours. That's basically what I'm saying. So, and finally, this is again another question that I'd like to address, is that as to why what exactly is happening in this data science or data analytics jobs. So say we're talking in a situation where you understand okay, I know this is a very great job, and if I want to crack the interview or get the position, I have got the position now. So in my job, what it is that I'm actually doing, what do these analysts even do in their job? So that's what I want to touch upon here, is that it's basically all of it is just the process of answering certain questions. So all of these jobs only touch upon answering 3 types of questions: a what question, a why question, and a how sort of question. So basically, if you're looking at a company that wants to know what is going to happen next, so I have a product that I am selling and I want to know how the sales are going to go in the next month or in the next quarter. That's basically the what question that you're trying to answer, is what happens in the future. So that's the whole thing about predictive analysis. The other sort of question is that why something is happening. So if you notice that this month your sales were low, or this month your website visitors were low, you might want to ask the question why. So then you come to prescriptive, and finally descriptive is that what happened, how many, how often. So it's all data manipulation. So all of these things, all of these questions are answered through tools of Python, Excel, SQL. These are basically the tools that are now in the forefront, that are helping us to answer these questions, and that's basically what analysts know today. So okay, this is finally I want to move into something. This chart is quite complex. I don't want you to fully understand this, but if anybody does, I think you will really appreciate it. So this chart is actually, it's a very favorite chart of mine, and this really describes in a very, very succinct detail this entire confusion कि ये data science, data analytics or business intelligence, data or software engineering, what is the difference between them? So the difference is that they all fall under this pyramid in different places. So this pyramid is basically a company's requirements, when you're looking at the importance of the requirements. So for any company that is using data, in their business, so you have this pyramid that exists, but you are never going to reach the top of the pyramid until the bottom of the pyramid is not set. So you are going to reach the top by starting at the bottom. So depending on where you are on this pyramid is the sort of job that you will do. So I'll show it to you in one shot what that means, and what that means in terms of your traditional the job name, the job role. So when you talk about analyst or engineer, so the engineering side is where your data is being prepared, is being ready. So say web developer, you have person who is getting data from a website. That person is a software engineer. He is basically the person who is getting the data for the company. Any analyst who is sitting in the office, in the head office, he cannot do anything if the software engineer does not get the website data or the product data correctly. So of course this has more importance, but the business impact comes higher up in the pipeline. So when you move away from software engineering or setting up your data pipelines, that's when you start doing what we are calling as data analysis. So data analysts come here, and that's beyond this point. Say you want to not just do analysis or just answering those what why questions, but also creating something new. Like say if you want to create a new prediction method, something that is not there anywhere in the world, that's when you will start using those advanced things like artificial intelligence or deep learning. That's when companies are trying to break the frontier, change the state of the art. So you have big tech companies like Facebook, Amazon, Google. So the sort of video that I showed you earlier, right? That's an example of something that's at the absolute peak of this pyramid. And why Google is doing that? Because Google has the data, from the entire pyramid. Google ka set hai. That's why they're able to do something at the top. But depending on where you go to work, you might be placed in a different area of the pyramid. Now, not to say that that ki niche wala job kam wala job and upar wala job is a more superior job, because that's not the case. Every job has its own career ladder. Every job may you can reach an extremely high level of success and prestige, because no layer can be done without the other. So of course, to reach higher up, the lower one has to be done. So depending on what you personally like, depending on what sort of career path you'd like to take, whether you want to go into be the type of person that builds things, then you would be a software engineer or a data engineer, an applications engineer. If you want to be somebody that wants to connect with business, that you want to be a little bit in touch with the technology, but you also want to be in touch with the business side, you want to be able to present to executives, to management, then you would be perfect for the analyst role that we have over here in the middle. Or if you want to be someone that is working very very academically, so you want to ask questions at a very fundamental level, examine something from a broad perspective and say that okay, this company is doing things like this, but what if we used this research and we tried this with our product? That is the absolute forefront data scientist or researcher. So it all depends on what sort of career you want to pursue is where you will fall into this ladder, when you look at any field that has the word data in it. So that's basically what I'm trying to say here. And if you can remember this pyramid as well, along with that little chart I showed you earlier, then I will say that my work here today is like more than done, because these are extremely important pieces of perspective that I really would like all the students here to know. So let's I with this lesson and moral in mind, I want to move on. Okay, yeah, so I think this is basically what I was trying to say. And finally, coming to the whole the meat of our topic today is Python. Why Python? ये Python में इतना क्या अच्छा है, इतना क्या खजाना भरा पड़ा है, that it is so important to learn. Now, before we even get into that, this entire pyramid that I showed you over here, be it analyst or anything, I'm not sure how many of you will be shocked to know, but at every level, be it software engineer, data engineer, analyst, or scientist, everybody is using Python. And this is extremely rare. You do not have a programming language that a person at all of these levels is using. So this is the first, and this is why today I would argue that if you could learn just one programming language in your life, then it should not be C or it should not be C++. I hope that the teachers at the college won't get angry hearing this, but I would argue that it should be Python, because today Python has grown to a level where it is not not just used by analysts or application developers or software engineers, but it's also used by mathematicians. It's also used by network engineers, and most importantly, it's also used by children. So if you've ever seen ads for Byju's or White Hat Junior, I should not take these names over here or take names of other basically distinct services. But the point is that if you've seen these ads, you will see that they're basically children's programming has now become very very popular. And why that's possible is because you have languages like Python, which even kids can grasp. 6th standard, 8th standard children, even they can do something basic in Python. So imagine like a language that is so versatile that somebody who is 10 years old and somebody who is 40 years old, both are using that language. So it's really is a marvel on its own. And why that is possible is because Python basically is it's through this property that I have written over here. It's high level. So when I say high level, is not our typical language wala high level, but high level as in a high level of abstraction. That is the binary language, that the computer language has been built upon so much that it's now you can write commands in almost plain English. So if anybody remembers any C or C++ programming, where if you wanted to print hello world, you had to do a lot of things. You had to write hash include this, that. You have to include 5-6 libraries. Then you have to write a main function. Then you have to write print f. In that you have to be very careful with your semicolon and etc. Right? Then you can print hello world. In Python, what is it? It's just printf hello world and enter, run, and that's it. So that's the simplicity that we have reached to, something that even children can understand. And that is why this language is going to continue to be used by people everywhere, because you can do the same thing that C is doing, but in such lesser amount of time with such lesser complexity. And that is why today I will argue that for somebody who's doing a career in that has anything to do with computers, knowing Python is almost as much of a life skill as knowing how to cook. So without diving too much into it, let me show you some statistics as to why this is happening and since when this is happening. So as of course, just being into college, you might have heard Python a lot, but to us or to adults, to your teachers, to your parents' generation, or anybody an elder who is currently working in any sort of IT or service sector place, they will say that Python is very new. Why? Because only in the last 5 years, you can see that this graph over here with the thick red line, Python has grown in popularity from the lowest to the highest. And what is this? Is that this is the sort of questions that people are asking about Python online, and that should be the biggest proof to you that what is a popular language, one that many people are talking about, many people are blogging about, many people are asking questions about how to do this, how to do that. So that you are doing something that everybody else is doing. If you have a doubt while doing this and you Google that, Google will give you a very very specific answer to that, because somebody has already asked that before you. So that's the biggest proof that you can see about the popularity of Python, the usage, the growth of usage, and the queries. So of course now it is arguably, I will say that more than Java, Python is now asked for more in a job interview or even in a job. So let me show you why it is. Another reason why Python has become so popular is that it interfaces beautifully with all of the softwares and all of the things that we use normally every day. So I'm sure as children, like you will have definitely used Excel at some point. कुछ तो बनाया होगा. Some data you might have seen, some way you might have made. So I'm going to show you something that is slightly complex. People have configured their Excel file to create a sort of a calendar and categorize or tabulate the data a little cleanly. Now see, before what will happen is that Excel itself has a lot of processing capability, and I would be touching upon that in our other course on MIS. But that aside, you can see that Excel, through its Visual Basic support, can do all of these fancy things. But this is also possible with Python, and Python interfaces beautifully, and you can take this to the next level. So the example that you're seeing below you is something that we are doing in Python, that is what we call web scraping. So what exactly is web scraping is that, suppose you have a job, or somebody who is a social media manager, or somebody who is working in digital marketing, a very new field that has now become a very, very serious career. And you will see that this person's whole job is just to assess uh, what is the engagement of the brand on Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook. And they want to see that, okay, say, let's just say that I want to know, I am working for a brand, and I want to see how many other pages are referencing the brand, how many hashtags are being used. So I'm on, so scrolling Twitter on your phone is one thing, but if you want to do your job better, what you'll be doing is you could come and open an Excel, and you can parse the web. Actually, you can let Python do the work for you. It will scour through Twitter, or it will go through your own feed, and it will pick out all of the tweets where it is referencing your company, or it is referencing a hashtag that you want. And then it's going to be that much more easier for you to prepare a report, or to do any sort of analysis, or do whatever. So this is the beauty that we can do. So Python interfaces with Excel, it can do this with many other things, and it can simplify your job. So that's what you do. So today, knowing Excel is one thing, but knowing Excel plus Python is another level. So again, this is just more data to support my entire point, is that, like, what is being Python being used for the most. And out of everybody that they're saying, data analysis is the most popular reason for which Python is being used. Of course, you have all of these other things, website development or system administration, everything else, scrapers, the example that I just showed you in the slide below, in the slide before this. Of course, there is AI, machine learning, etc. But again, like, you want to do serious job, Python is the language that is important for you. And again, this is just another visual to explain what are these advantages exactly. So high level means what? Like, instead of 20 lines, you need 2 lines to do the same thing. Huge community, I just showed you, like, the number of questions, the popularity is spiking. So it's been here for 20 plus years, but in the last 5 to 10 years, it has just grown in popularity. And of course, you can do Python whether you work on Windows or Mac or Linux, whatever it is. And of course, like, there is also cross device compatibility. You want to work on your mobile, you can write Android apps in Python. You want to work on a computer, like on Windows, for something that works on a web browser, again, you can write a website, again, you can write apps in Python. So that's the complete universality of this language. And everything that I showed before you, all the jobs, all of the AI fancy use cases, those examples that I showed you, there is Python in all of them. So whatever level you want to work for, whether it is a website development or a product application layer, or whether it is that ambitious layer of AI and deep learning, you will need your journey starts with Python. So that is the beauty of this course, and that is exactly what we want to touch upon. So I won't get into the details of what topics we'll be learning, but I want to give you one taste of say what level you will be reaching from. Now, one common question we get is that, sir, I have not done any programming. Yeah, fair. Sir, I have not taken any programming lessons classes for many years now. So I am I'm anxious what will be, whether I'll be able to keep up with the course. What I want to tell you is that we will take you from absolute zero to being able to create something like what is being shown in this little fancy little animation over here. So what you're saying here is actually a GIF animation, something that I have written in 50 lines of code, and this can be done very, very easily. And all you need is only Python. That's it, only Python, and this data has to be in one Excel file. That's it, and you can make something this fancy. So I want to show you that this, of course, we'll be showing you an example like this and others like it also, but from absolutely zero, from not being able to understand how to start a Python file or start a Python project, to being able to write code like this. That is the level that we are trying to take you at. And this will again connect to data analysis, because here you will be learning how to arrange data, visualize it, and then prepare it so that you can apply analysis on it. So it's just setting the foundation so that you can work at the next level. That is what this course is about. And of course, like if you're interested, maybe you can once this presentation is shared with you, you can also, those who are a little bit more curious, you can check the code out, you can check out the original data and whatever. So finally, the features of the program: it's foundational, it's online, it's hands-on, and of course it is sponsored for you. So that is, I will say, is a very huge benefit, is that your college is completely sponsoring the course for you, and it is actually, they have also accredited it at a credit level, so that if you, those who finish the course, you will be getting your credits. So you're getting your validation, and it will be feature showing up on your transcripts as well. So I think this is a very good opportunity to go for this course. And of course, the design is that these are just some details for you to know. Like, you'll have 6 sessions of basics, 7 sessions of getting into the core, the concepts of it, another 7 sessions that will teach you object-oriented programming, and the last few sessions will be on libraries. So the actual thing that helps you make all these fancy things. So the example that I just showed you, right, it's possible because you're using these 3-4 fancy libraries. That's the whole thing. So to be able to use the libraries, your foundation needs to be clear. It's a ladder everywhere you go. So that's basically my piece. I think we're almost out of time. I'd like to close at this point. So, but before I close my piece, just a few further instructions for everybody is that after finishing this short little orientation session, anybody who is interested in doing this course, we'd like you to fill a course registration form. The link will be given to you on your email. I'm sure you've received 2 emails from us till now, 2-3 emails on the rescheduling, and also the actual link for this meeting, and also for the fact that the schedule has been this thing changed. So you'll also be getting the course registration form. You can also check your college's notice. We need you to separately register for the course so that we know that you are interested in doing this, and then we will be taking the registrations and kickstarting the course in a couple of weeks time. So the exact schedule for the course will be shared with you soon, but I think the registrations will be open for about, I'd say, 7 to 10 days from today. So just keep an eye out on the link, and it takes only 2 minutes. You just have to give in your name, email, and phone number, and maybe 1-2 more questions. So with that, you'll be registered and you can apply for the course. You can start learning it. There are limited seats, so if we have a lot of registrations, we may have to do maybe 20 to 30 minutes of an MCQ screening test. So just you may have to be prepared to do that. So of course it will be, we won't ask you questions in Python. Of course, we'll be asking you some other sort of questions. So, and finally, there is to note that a small refundable deposit of, say, a few hundred rupees may be taken just to ensure that you're doing the course sincerely and completing it. But otherwise, the course is completely sponsored. You do the course correctly, you won't have to pay a single rupee. So that's, I think, a huge opportunity for everybody. So yeah, that's it for my part. I think I can hand it over to Yash, or we can take a few questions. So anybody who is in the call
Yes,
right
sir,
now.
there are questions in the chat box.
Yeah. Yes. Yash, can you do me a favor and please read out a few? Maybe we can tackle them.
Okay, sir. So there is question from Vishal Jadhav, that's the lectures of this course will be offline or online.
Yes. So I think we still have to decide the exact offline versus online of the course, but it will be online in a majority sense. So even if we have a few offline sessions, most of them will be conducted online. That's my understanding as of right now. So of course you will be given all of the resources. Every lecture will have the first half of it will be done on instruction. The second half will have you practicing on the spot. Whether you have a computer or you don't have a computer, you can practice Python. And every lecture we want to ensure that if today we are teaching you this concept, you will be practicing that concept also. You will be writing some code that will make you think, oh, I did something new today. I was able to make this in Python. So you have a sense of accomplishment in every lecture. You will not feel के नहीं आज एक दो घंटा I just heard a lot of theory and हो गया lecture. That's not how we're trying to do it. If you have a computer, what I'd like you to do is open the lecture meet, open your code editor on one side, and try to write whatever it's done. So because this is a course that is so simple, you can type in your practice work and you can do it. Yeah. Any other questions that we can tackle?
So what is the duration of this course, and is there any fees for Python?
Yes. So I've already touched upon the fees. I think this question came a little earlier. So this course is completely sponsored by the college in association with RUSA, of course. And that's why in the end, there might be a small deposit, but you will not have to pay the fees as long as you complete the course. So as long as you attend every session, I think that the deposit will be given back. It's a few hundred rupees. I don't think it will be more than 1,000. But this course is actually valued a lot more out there in the market. So yeah, I think you should definitely take the opportunity.
Sir, one student is asking about the registration link.
Yes. So the registration link will be sent to you. You can check your college group or you can check your email. So it will be sent to you in your inbox. It's another form link. Just click on that. Whether you're on your mobile also, you can do it. And it's just a few questions. You have to fill it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I am looking at the questions right now. We have another question. So one more repeat question on the fees of the course. I'm sure your question has been answered. If not, you can just ask it again. Okay. So Sahil has asked us if we'll get the schedule of the course before the registration. So Sahil, don't worry. You can. I think when we share the registration link, we will also be sharing the tentative schedule. Although the final schedule will be fixed only after a couple of days, or it might take a little longer than that. So don't worry. Any email that you'll be getting, any WhatsApp communication, you can respond to it. So especially on email, you can feel free to reply and say that you're interested or you're not interested. You won't be able to attend. Either ways, we will be handling, entertaining all of your questions and requests. So don't worry. Yeah. So to answer your question, the schedule, yes, we will try to share the schedule with the registration link, the tentative one. Okay. Yeah. So I have seen just this one new question is after registration, when the lectures will start. So Vishal, so we expect that it will still take a couple of weeks because we are still planning out the timeline for the course. I think the course total, it is between 45 to 60 hours of learning. So that's actually quite big, and if you're doing a lecture every day, it will still take you 20 to 30 days. I think 25, an entire month to do it. But I think we'll be spreading it out a little bit more so that you get breathing time and time to learn and process everything. And yes, today's presentation, we will be sharing a link with you. You can download it online. It will be in the same email where you have your registration link. Okay, so watch out for the email. Okay, so we have an external question that is not related to the to today's topic, but I'll just tackle it. We have one that says that the graphics registration, whether it is complete. No, you can still continue to fill the registration form. In fact, that is still just a webinar form. The graphics webinar will be similarly conducted. We'll first have an orientation, then you'll be filling the registrations. Yeah, so don't worry, you can fill the form even now if you'd like. Okay, do we have any other questions, Yash? If you can help out here.
No, sir.
Great. Okay, I think if that's the case, we can close at this point. Do we have Principal Ma'am or Bhushan sir currently on call? Yes, I think they may have. Yeah. great. Then I think we can conclude the talk today. I hope everybody learned something. कुछ सब bouncer तो नहीं गया होगा. But even if you picked up few things now, I will say that it will be useful for you, for your careers, and to help you decide in what you want to do. So feel free to leave the session right now. So we will be closing at this point. Anybody who is interested, definitely watch out for the email. Fill in the form so we know that you want to do the course, and I hope that you'll be attending the lectures as well. So yeah. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a great day ahead. Yes. Okay, then we'll be leaving the meeting. Thank you, Yash.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.